Okay, so are there any other questions out there?
Yeah, does this car have autopilot?
Oh, great question. And that's kind of a misnomer using that term autopilot. In the simplest way to answer it, I would say no, it does not have autopilot, but we do have something similar. So let me explain that to you. Okay. What this car has is a feature called adaptive cruise control with steering wheel assist. So let's break it down in the simplest manner. I don't have anything that would be an autopilot where you're just hands-free and cars driving around. But what this car can do, which is similar, is, well, let's take it back one step, just a simple cruise control. Most vehicles today have a feature called cruise control. You get up to speed, you set it, and the car will just drive along at that set speed. But if somebody cuts in front of you, you got to tap the brakes, wait for him to get out of the way or get around him, or reset the cruise, and that's just the way it is. What they came up with recently, a lot of the premium manufacturers have done this, and now it's trickling down to the rest of the vehicles, is something called adaptive cruise control. And what that does is, once you set the cruise control for a certain speed, if somebody gets in front of you or you come up on somebody, your car will all of a sudden stay in line with that car's speed. So it kind of prevents road rage and keeps at a set pace. And when he gets out of the way, your car will resume up to whatever cruise control speed you had it at. But the latest and greatest, something that's kind of cool, is called adaptive cruise control with steering assist. So what we do here is we add a couple of things to this, and it's a great thing for safety and enjoyment. What the manufacturers will do is they put a camera. I don't know if you can see up into the windshield here. This car has one camera. Most cars have two. And once you have two cameras, a couple of things happen. So let's just go back to, you've got the cruise control set at 65. You're cutting down the road. One of those cameras is dedicated to looking at the paint. It's trying to keep you inside the painted lines. And if you were to drift out to the right or to the left, the car is automatically steering all the time, trying to keep you centered in the lane. It also can pick up a vehicle out in front of you and center off of that. So a couple of bits of information going into the computer there. The second camera, this car doesn't, but if it did have a second camera, the other camera is dedicated to looking at objects like that's a car, that's a truck, that's a motorcycle, those are people. So those two are communicating all the time to let you know what's happening in front of you. So it can adjust for something crossing, a deer, people, things like that. So what we'll do now, once you set the cruise, is the car is going down the road. It's doing just what you would do normally. You're driving at 65, you do this just to keep yourself centered, technically. And you're not supposed to, you can't take your hands off the wheel for a long time, but you could while you're adjusting the radio. The car will do all the steering for you. It keeps you centered in that lane. And yes, it can make slow sweeping turns on the highway. It doesn't make a 90-degree turn, but it can adjust for the roads on the highway. So it's used on the highway. It's a great safety feature, along with I'll call it a pleasurable, enjoyable feature. I love using it myself. So does that help clear that up a little bit for you? Or any more questions on that?
No, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right.